Hello, I'm Andrei Masalovich, or Cyber Dead, and I am on PhD for the 15th year. I was asking for the first PhDs, and I remember that at that time no one was here, but I see here some familiar faces. So thank you for inviting me, because your hall is called Da Vinci. So this was a person who invented a lot of useful devices, and we are living in a time when bad guys are using these devices for the evil purposes. So my presentation, I thought of this, but it was meant to be called Rise of Machines from Vibrator to Terminator. Probably they thought about Terminator like some hidden violence. So I will start with the example that I wanted to use in 2019 at Hackron conference, which happens at Canary Islands. But the conference is a weak glimpse of PhDs. Just everything happened on that table, the standoff. However, in 2019 there was a presentation which I liked and which I was thinking of. There were two hacks of such things as vibrators of two manufacturers with different attack vectors, with different consequences from different countries. But what was uniting them, there was this device which was hacked, Swacom Slim I, and during one presentation I was shocked 3 times. First, there are modern devices that I cannot, that I don't know what it's all about. Secondly, I don't understand why there is a video camera, and it was explained that only fans girls know why there is a camera. But seriously, such devices, which had a typical vulnerability, and you can hack them in dozens or thousands. Just imagine that 2 million devices were sold. Just imagine, like there is a director of a factory saying that 2 million vibrators have hacked us. So it's a planet Earth where we live. It looks surrealistic. However, what's serious here is that the attack vector which may cause physical damage to a person, to a human being. Second, it's a attack vector which may give reputational damage at the same time. And thirdly, this is attack at the devices through which someone can attack other devices. So it's a cyber war element, because attack is very simple and it's typical. So a lot of devices could be hacked to make a botnet and to use them for massive attacks. So it's an element of cyber war in our traditional understanding. So attacking a device is not just a cool example, but these are approaches to attacking our human population from 3 different sides. And why I come to such halls, because younger generation can explain everything. But I'd like to talk about some trends and some dependencies that I see because of my age, because I have seen them before. And there is a hidden dependency that the different attacks to different IoT devices, they contain the same vulnerability vectors that are easy to fight, and they make a more serious event or notion, which could be an element of hybrid war. So what's wrong here? What is wrong here? the devices with the password by default. It was 2019, they were hacked in 2016, and since that time there is a weak default password and a weak login admin, I would guess it. And the device, when it's working with Wi-Fi, sends open credentials. So those that wrote it, they didn't understand the basics of security. Those that develop their devices, they just want them to be working. They don't know how to check them. And second example, more fun, at a gas station, somehow one gas station went crazy, started to give out gas for free. A hacker could have changed it to a testing mode, and until they found a person who has switched it back, it was giving free gas for several hours. One of the companies, their toys are spying on children due to some additional features, additional bonuses and cards. Children are logging in, they're connecting, their activity log stays there as their life level, their life circumstances, the information which their parents wouldn't be willing to give out to some strangers. Also, remotely, you can connect the scooter and cause physical damage, and you can make it move in a different way. You can switch it off, you can hack it. And I'm thinking of what to do when I will be retired. I would have to hack all the scooters. And that was true. There was a case when they were able to hack the casino through the aquarium, which contained some electronics in order to watch temperature, light, and water cleanliness. So it was connected to LAN of casino local area network, which should be isolated, because that casino is often hacked. And the one who was monitoring this aquarium, for him it was more convenient to watch from home. So it was connected to Wi-Fi, internet. So it was a super prepared backdoor from the internet. You can hack to the device, which can lead you to the serious entity, like a casino. Also, the scales, they are leaking our data. It's when the scales, they have spied on a unfaithful husband. There were smart scales. A person was on scales in Australia, and the male voice was saying that your voice is okay, and your weight is not okay. You need to register in a fitness center. You need to buy some vitamins. So a hacker have seen that the management comes from a simple device, and he has, when there was some a person with excessive weight, and the scales said, go away, you pig. And next case is the dishwasher attack, when there was attack to have a backdoor from the catalog to enter the network and get root rights. The oven may read your short text messages and control your messages, control your communication. The kettle and the coffee machine have leaked the Wi-Fi password, because nobody thinks of security when making such devices, so all credentials are sent openly, and in open way the login and password from the owners, from the host email, also the smart plug, next case would be smart lamp. So most presentations about security of IoT are built in such a way. You can have a lot of beautiful examples. People are looking at this, laughing, but now the situation is 2025. I've seen top 5 attacks of this year. 2 attacks are related to IoT. First was called Smart House. It's a new super Trojan which has hacked million devices, and it was used to spy inside the house and to create botnets and for some political hacking. And the second attack of this year is attack of the energy infrastructure of one of the European countries. It's the same when hackers used vulnerability of ancient management systems that have not been upgraded and were connected to the internet. So we live in a planet where everything can be hacked, anything that contains a battery. So we have a point where 3 or 4 worlds interconnect. Physical damage to a person, second is political damage to a person or a group of people, and third is recon, collecting data, and number 4 is cyber attack. It's to damage computer devices. Unfortunately, 25 years we lived in a wrong world, and our Russian definition of cyberspace was based on computers and servers and routers only. So it is cyberspace is a environment which is populated by servers. And so these 4 tasks are 4 different people from different agencies, and they need to protect you, and they don't know each other. But as to the attackers, as to the offensive side, there are like 4 majors who have a task from one kernel. So IoT attacks is a part of a more complex process. When it has started, this history that the world of devices could be used as a part of the war, this awareness came in 2011. The first was a product called Stuxnet. This was first cyber offensive. It was Trojan, published in 2010, but it has started circulating in 2009. It has 4.0D, the D-Day vulnerabilities, obfuscation tools, very complicated core, 500 kilobytes on assembler. Those that have programmed, you can imagine the size of a core. 500 kilobytes on assembler is something massive. So it was looking for the commands of Siemens devices and has went to the Iranian factory. So uranium centrifuge has some 1 to 10% of enrichment in a cycle. So if you would increase the speed, you would get to the resonance speed. And so the most modern centrifuges, they are outside of resonance. So, and then they work more efficiently and more effectively than their competitors. And those are where the centrifuges in uranium. And if you would, this resonance speed would be violated. So they happened to hack 1,000 centrifuges. There were the security services of US and Israel, because US said that if they would work, everything would stay invisible. And like Israel guys, they made some mistakes, and Trojan went to the real world. The Trojan being complicated, it has attacked the offensive, worked only if there was a default password. And out of 5,000 centrifuges, the top secret devices for the country to enrich uranium for nuclear weapons, 1/5, so the 20%, there were centrifuges, uranium centrifuges, technical devices with default password. And there were Trojans that attack physical world devices in 2010. At the same time, there was an event seemingly unrelated. RSA was attacked. This was the company which provides algorithms for encoding most serious customers. And there are seeds which are connected into your key. And if you synchronize the time by seconds, then they cause equal keys. And this storage of seeds should have been separate, but there was just a server with a firewall which was connecting every 15 minutes, giving you a pack of seeds and leaving a reserve copy, and hackers managed to get hold of this. So this was a detective story. A person who has detected this, he has seen this, he found this storage from hackers where they were sending these millions of seeds by FTP, and he couldn't press the delete button, and they've seen that somebody is touching them, and they managed to transfer this. And as a result, millions of employees, they lost their privacy. Their keys were compromised. So this was the first attack on a supply chain, on a special supply chain, but nevertheless, it's a supply chain. When I cannot attack the company, I can attack their partners or vendors, and that's how I can get to you. And there was a Trojan which lived before than Stuxnet. There was Trojan Aurora, Operation Aurora. It was launched by Chinese, and it has stolen lots of documentation. It was the very first Google storage, and then 200 companies have been also damaged. And the director of ANB, Kim Alexander, said that it's the greatest wealth redistribution. This was know-how of 200 largest companies of US were stolen. And at that time, there was the 16th Cyber Command. and Kim Alexander became its chief. Now there is 17th, 18th, and the 18th is now being built as a cyber command. There was also some sad fearic story when Iranians have hacked a network of the special service agents, CIA. They found a double agent, and he has that in double agent shown how he talks to CIA. There was a special site where you are in a guest book or in a forum, you can get the tasks and submit tasks. So this was like a private site for one person. And this was a repetition of the mechanism which they've used for 1 month, Americans in the Middle East, and it worked well, so they decided to scale it up. So Iranian looked at this site and they've seen that it has a formal structure. It's made at a template. So they've taken some signatures from this template and they have Googled it. And there were dozens and hundreds of such sites. And when you have a site on one user and it's a CIA agent, it's clear who is visiting that site. So Americans had to evacuate thousands of people, and many they did not manage. So this was a so what Americans have done, there was a 6 laws of Kirchhoffs. It's a Dutch cryptographer. The laws of cryptography, and the second law, Kirchhoffs, is that the enemy knows your system. So if you thought of something smartly, it's not for long. The enemy would decode your system. So the Chinese, they also use the same mechanism. So the same arrests and executions happened in China. So the same method of personal sites was duplicated to China. So this is the 6th law of Kirchhoff, that idiots are around you. Because when I came to my work, my first boss said, Andrei, since this time, idiots would be around you. So write documentations, ask for idiots, and answer your phone like to idiots. And the same is true to our American colleagues from CIA and A&B. And there was a meeting where there was a exchange of cyber problems between Iran, China, and Russia. So why I made this presentation just for one slide. In Garmisch-Partenkirchen in southern Bavaria, there was an international conference on cybersecurity, which was initiated by Russia. And at that conference, the participants were trying to come up with rules of how to behave in cyberspace, to give some definitions and some signs, and to form how to register attacks, how to survey attacks, if there is a responsibility of certain countries. And I was among the expert group at those conferences, and I was surprised that the whole story is lacking from the first steps, because we cannot give an international definition to cyber space. And I thought that Americans and UK specialists, they are somewhat strange. They want to have their who know computers. There is a wonderful book on Trojans where our super antivirus specialists, they were saying that we are so trained to fight Trojans, but in 2010, representatives of US companies came and they said that they know about hackers, their name, their dogs, their families, because in addition to computers, there is offline, there is OSINT, and you can always merge this data. So this was the insight of 2010. And 25 years ago, Americans gave their definition of cyber space. And in this definition, there is a physical domain where a computer manages a device which attacks a person, whether it's a vibrator or a drone, or it's the rifle. But computer kills here people. It's a physical domain. And second domain is political, when computer attacks brains, making a holy war on the internet, or making fakes, or distributing fakes, or having target groups to damage their brains. And third, cyberspace contains cyber domain of computers, servers, and routers. And these domains are interconnected. So to plan an operation is made from one source and becomes effective. So this is the insight which we have only recently understood in the last 3 years after the beginning of the special military operation. And I see that in Africa, what happens when several tasks are connected into connected by one source. In Africa, they like Wagners. They like, and they call them tourists. So the tourists are still effectively working. Why? Because political, informational, and military tasks were assembled in one fist, and it's more convenient to fight with a fist rather than with separate fingers. So we're trying to fight the teams that are having hybrid wars, planning operations by one team from different sides, and we are trying to combat them from different agencies. They don't know each other physically. So any cyber attack, any attack on IoT could be presented as a part of a massive process, as a cyber dad, as a cyber granddad. Journalists are calling me every day, asking me to explain some weird things for them. Like some information was collected in a database. What I can say about this? Yes, this connection of a smart video surveillance systems and a smart intellectual system of event detection allows to find violence, to find stealing of cars, the drug dealers, when there are men coming every hour, it means that it's a bordello there. And if you can connect some databases, you can recognize criminals, you can recognize the cars that have been stolen, or the cars that have been removed from registration. So everything works for our benefit. But we need to remember that all these stories, they have two backstories. First, there is a control which leads to always logging our activity.
That's how data is collected, and our profiles are assembled, where we go, who we meet with, where we are at any given moment. And then, even worse, you have these databases with personal profiles that can be enriched with behavioral analysis. So not just our data, but our intentions and behaviors are known, which is very valuable and can be sold at a high price to businesses for advertising. This guy wants beer, this gal wants Pampers, and it's also useful for scammers who know which buttons to press. Or it can be used to target people who are employed in the military or the industrial complex, defense supplies. This has been closely monitored by the criminal world, hackers, government authorities, secret services as well. And these things are not guaranteed to be secure. Nobody has ever looked at it in terms of security comprehensively. So let's focus on IoT security now. Internet of Things. I'll give you a bullet point view of top 10 OWASP vulnerabilities. They were published first in 2018. It's 2025 now, and it hasn't gotten any better. So, top 25 is the same as top 18. We haven't been addressing this at all. I'll be giving you the top 10 vulnerabilities of IoT. Hard-coded, weak, or brute-forceable passwords. That's number one. You're an adult. You get gifted a smartphone. You know that it's important. You spend half a day configuring it. Privacy, access, contact lists, all the perks that you need. You know that it's important. But then the same person gets as a present a dash cam. It's basically the same device. The processor is the same, the camera is pointed the other way. Otherwise, it's all the same. You plug it in, it's plug and play. It asks for online connection to get upgrades and backups of your dashcam footage, but you never configure it. It's a connected device. It works through a known port. You don't even have to scan it. Its banner is known, or referrer. So it sends out signals with known commands. And it's most likely not password protected, or the password is known. I'm not naming the device here. I've blurred it out because it's one of the many services where you can look up your forgotten passwords. You look up devices and it spits out default passwords. It covers half of the world, meaning that it is not secure at all. Unsecured network services. That's number two. You have public-facing network connections that are very old or obsolete, that emerged before any security was present on the internet. There were 3 eras on the internet, and each predated its any security concerns. First, the internet was born to transfer files, ports 2025 for FTP. Then you have Telnet, emerging at the time, SSH as well. It begs to be revamped by now. Apologies for graphic detail, but you get reborn as an adult as well. You need to tend to your teeth. I go to a dentist, I ask for a full revamp. It's going to be expensive. And my situation was that bad that I needed a new mouth at a different place, not just a set of new teeth. The same goes for the internet. It's all open. SSH, FTP, Telnet, the things that were designed more than 20 years ago. I have a deck from long ago. 20 evergreen hacking techniques. They haven't changed. Unsecured ecosystem interfaces, that's number 3. A whole separate story. You compete on convenience and ease of use. New interfaces, new buttons to be clicked to get things done, and nobody is concerned about security. I try to use my smartphone less, but if I got the stats, I download and upload 4 gigs of traffic, mobile traffic. But what do I upload if it's 2 gigs? 2 gigs is accounted by me, and the other half is security patches. There are a lot of vulnerabilities, and they get patched all the time. So every month you get to download 2 gigs of patches. These UIs are continuously developed, and UI designers do not think about engineering or security at all. So assume that it's not secure. Lack of secure update channels. That's number 4. There have been reports of Teslas freezing in the middle of the highway where it had to download updates. When I used to work on Windows, it would halt all the work while it got sorted its updates, and I was in the middle of an important call, for example. So no secure updates. Number 5, another evergreen problem. It concerns your PCs, your services, your data storages, not just IoT. Using unsecure and obsolete components. I first encountered this in 2004. In LSAS, there was a vulnerability. It was found in February, published in March. I talked about it in April, and then in 3 months, a Trojan was developed, Sasser, and half of the world was vulnerable and it got infected. 15 years on, the same happened with WannaCry, same ports, the same attack technique. It's just that that time this was done through SMB. Published in February, found in February, published in March, patch released the next month, and then the next month, the Trojan emerges and infects half of the world. Improper protection of confidentiality, number 6. Open protocols, short keys, weak encryption, data leaks. It's a catch-all category, so I could be talking about it for hours. Unsecure transfer and storage of data. You say MongoDB, you have a distributed system, and you have no insight into MongoDB or Elasticsearch. Having an index file that's public-facing, it can be discovered through shutdown, and it can be used to clean the structure of your database, and it happens all over the place. Next up, lack of device management and governance. How many assets, where they are, what they're doing, PCs, smartphones, old SIMs. You cannot recover your old SIM cards, and they can be used by bad actors. The same applies to old discarded laptops. There was this outrageous case where a guy came to the tax service office, offered to replace their old PCs. He swapped all the computers and took the old ones away. Just imagine what data there could be. Number 9, unsecured defaults. Hackers know about them. This problem will never go away. And number 10, last but not least, lack of physical security. I'm a collector of elegant attacks. It's not top 1, but it's in the top 3. A hacker lady from Krasnoyarsk, a young gal, she was 12 actually. She went to an amusement park. She wasn't let to ride some ride. She got cross. She went to the ticketing office, took a crowbar from the fire panel. She hit the electrical panel. The locks went off. She went to the ticketing office, stole some chips, tickets, and the book, Harry Potter, I think. So don't forget about physical security. So this has been a broad overview of what's going on. And we are in the middle of events that they unfold. I presented at Lovelace the day before last. The rooms are called with surnames of the grands. And it made me think. My generation knew Ada Lovelace, the first woman programmer who came up with cycles, algorithmic notation, basically invented programming. And then there was Linda Lovelace, a porn star. Our generation split down the middle. One half knew one Miss Lovelace, the other Miss Lovelace. The new generation knows neither. And my presentation was about AI and what jobs it will take away and what jobs will survive. It's a nice thing to contemplate, but unfortunately AI is now at the hands of bad actors. And it's happened faster than good actors got a grip on it. It hasn't released us from routine tasks yet, but it's already used to harm us. So let's review some emerging attack vectors that are powered by AI. I count 5 that will be on the rise due to AI now. The first attack vector is through voice assistants and smart devices. You can generate audio queries that emulate your voice. You can do this through sampling, mixing them, or training an ML to synthesize your voice that's indistinguishable from the original. You can bypass synthesis and just record the actual commands that you say out loud in interacting with the device, and then reuse them in an attack. And I think it was 7 years ago where I envisaged this future where you use acoustic signals at the edge of the perceived frequency range. There are signals that we perceive that machines, that people do not perceive, and machines hear a command in your voice, but then there is another command that you cannot hear due to frequency. The machine will hear it, the smart speaker will hear it, and you will not. It's a current vector, and it will be happening. Next up, we have attacks aiming or targeting IoT and industrial AI. You can poison AI models at industrial enterprises by spoofing telemetric data. The first case is pretty old. The Americans were developing a stealth jet. They wanted to get signatures of our radars. They were able to recruit a high-level officer, a scientist. He began leaking the parameters of our radars, the profiles. He was found out, but the data that he got and then handed over were fabricated. He then got imprisoned. the Americans used false data to design the stealth component of their fighter jets, bombers. But then, when they were deployed in Syria, Houthis, for example, who got Russian air defenses, were able to detect the stealth aircraft. So this is very much upstream in defense and in other industries where you can change this perception thing. Next vector is attacks powered by LLM agents and autonomous AI scripts. All major corporations are now developing their ecosystems that are built on microservices. These are millions of agents that do something. Each of them can be secure, but then you have ensembles of agents that can be directed to mount an attack. Because when you interface with an agent as a user or as a company, you cannot distinguish if it's a valid agent or a bad actor. In 2018, I made a whole report on this, where the smart survive. You can poison training data as well. This can be data for training, data for inputs. You can introduce noise and pictures. Human perception will recognize it. But due to noise, AI or ML will not be able to recognize anything in it. And then, last but not least, I forecast emergence of synthetic identities or personas. You can generate a whole crowd of them that be acting as candidates for job applications, potential business partners, customers, your near and dear family. You'd be engaging with them as if they were human, but it's technically almost impossible to differentiate where you interact with a real person or with a synthetic persona. Once again, you can eliminate fraud and scams overnight if you learn to say 4 things, 4 coded phrases to engage in conversation with your family, with your co-workers, with your boss. So it's friend or foe. You introduce a login and password, call and response into your conversations. Because currently you start conversations without authentication. Here is my favorite example. Synthetic personas have been part of the world for a long time now. This is Alana Pesclovo, the first synthetic persona that was born in 2004, 19 years old already. The story is that 2 high school students, 15 years each, the 2 girls decided to play a prank. They registered for a beauty pageant run by Rambler. They weren't let participate because of the age. They generated a persona, submitted the questionnaire, the application. It passed the filters, so that was the contender. But this would be just a prank. But then the PR guy noticed this image and decided to spin it as the Russian type of beauty, which is a bit plump, unlike a Barbie. He started promoting Alana Peskova, this persona. More than 37,000 votes were cast in her favor, 10K ahead of the second runner-up. There were T-shirts with her likeness, there was a website with a community, No to Barbie, they had performances, Barbie.net is still up, they buried the Barbie doll. So this synthetic person won a beauty pageant selection, coming out on top beating all live humans, just 2 high school students and a PR person. That's what was required. So I like to play foolish, and I'm looking for a self-development hobby in IoT. After the military conflict, I'll be focusing on hacking the boom gates. There are thousands of them in Moscow. You can use Flipper Zero, and you'll be gatekeeping cars. If it's a Russian car, it'll pass. If it's Bentley, I'll slam it with the boom. Something of pleasure to do with your knowledge. That's my plan. Now, what can you do about it? Get good. Prove your knowledge in OSINT, in IoT security. To the left is a link to my club. It's really fun and valuable professionally. And the link in the middle is one of the training centers. I've been speaking for a long time now, so I asked for a wrap-up from DeepSeek. It says, thank you. This was an explosion of creativity in science. Any task is more engaging if you're curious about it. We'll get back in touch when you will be pushing the envelope again. Thank you. So, if you have any questions, I think there should be mics in the aisle. I'm not sure about this room, but there are prizes or gifts for the best question. Here it is, a great book. Yeah, you raise your hand, you'll be handed a roving mic. Hello, thank you very much for the presentation. Here's my first question. What do you do at all? What do you focus on? What devices to use if you're a layperson, or if you're a part of security research community as well, especially in this hostile environment? You have a smartphone. So what type do you prefer? What type of device, especially given your line of work? And thank you for your service. First, it's all leaked already. Do not bother. All your data is out there. Devices do not count. Secondly, observe the 10 Commandments. It's all online. It never gets erased. If you do something wrong, it'll catch up with you. So just lead a good life. Point 3, you cannot hide anything online. You cannot erase anything from the internet, but you can clutter or noise the environment. So this smartphone cannot read QR codes, for example. It cannot be used for payment. It doesn't know what I do. All it knows is that I had 3 phone conversations with my accountant and 2 phone calls with my friend. It's a cover, one of the layers. And all my real life happens in different devices. And in my email, you'll see that I do nothing of note. I'm a drunk in my email, I'm a woman pleaser, and my real life is someplace else. If you want to become a professional, you have to elevate yourself somewhat. It's not about just some particular device. The vulnerabilities have not changed. 7 years on, and the top 10 is still the same. I just wanted to get some practical recommendations. Join the club. We have tea parties every month where it gets discussed. Okay, there was another one over here. Yeah, there are two mics. Thank you. Not exactly a question, a remark, or maybe a joke. You had an example about one of the big cases in 2025, an attack on the power grid in Europe. I think there is a backdoor in your presentation. The link from your slides lead to a Zen publication, Yandex Zen, and potentially the attack never happened. Is it possible that an AI fabrication is part of your deck? How does this jive with the threats that you've described? Yeah, potentially that's true. The text is most likely generated by AI, but there was a prototype for the attack, and I might even know some of the people responsible for the attack. So the actual event happened. The description is very generic, yes. What happened, where, and if it really happened. You have to get used to it. Most of the text will be written, generated by GPTs. Okay, one last question, because we'll be late. I'll be available offline, sure. Thank you, Mr. Masalovich. I've been following you since 1990s. This week, I will just wanted to expand on your presentation. Mirai botnet that focuses on IoT vulnerabilities, default passwords. You're aware, right? It's very popular across the world, in the US and in Russia, in Asia. Just yet another point to prove your point. Okay, thank you all. Nice hunting, happy hunting. The first question. Who asked the first question? Come up for the book. All of the questions were great. If there was a lady asking a question, she'd be getting the prize, but you're shy today.